Yeah, and that gives you a lot of synergy with the Tide Hunter as well. Double heroes that can utilize the minus armor. Great Roshan taking potential. And you've got your win condition now, so maybe you can go for a hero in regards to Prince that can look to be a little bit more active. They've even banned out the Conquer, so maybe they feel like this is going to be a side lane TA.
Potentially. I mean, it's always something that you just want to deal perhaps with a team like Omega that's a little bit less comfortable and experienced with each other, that you just want to take away a lot of the comfort, right? So we've done that with the Kunkka, the Lina. I feel like we've got Van playing his Magnus as well, is always something that you need to be considering.
Yeah, without a doubt. We've seen some mag performances so far today, and at least Execration, like, you know, we'll make sure we take that one out of the pool. They still feel like this is going to be a TA side lane. They banned out Storm Spirit in response to that as well. What are we looking for Execration, though, in regards to the Marm hero?
10 seconds remaining.
Hopefully my mic is still fine, because you were slightly laggy for me for just a second. I want to see, for Execration, I want to see a PL. I think it's something that, you know, maybe later on you won't be able to deal too much to the Tide Hunter, but in terms of responding to the TA, I think it's exactly what you need. You know, it's a lot of small instances of damage. You're going to be able to run over the Lion and the Grimstroke pretty easily, and then just allow the rest of the team to kind of deal with you. The one downside is it's not really a good gyro pairing. A good IO pairing. I was just thinking of a gyrocopter as one of the few good things for the IO. They ban out the PL at the end of the day.
So are there any good IO pairings that you feel are available that could have a lot of damage over time to help deal with the TA?
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, they've banned out the Juggernaut themselves.
5 seconds remaining.
Maybe a Luna? Is that still in the pool?
It is. Luna's still available. If they want to go down the tracks here for Mob. It's going to be a Luna disrupt the lane more than likely if they go down that route. A lot of spam.
Nah, they'd change it up surely. The IO would be paired together with it.
So Monkey's
even if
gone.
It's like, excuse me, even if the IO is the 4, you always want to just lane in with your safe laner, unless it's like a Slardar IO lane, where you obviously can take huge advantage of the increased attack speed.
Miles IO is pretty strong lane. You know, we saw that a decent amount at TI when Spirit were playing it with the Armlet build that Collapse was going for a lot. So we'll see if that's going to be the...
Well, that's a Collapse Mars. I don't think anyone in the world is as good as Collapse at Mars.
That is very true. That is, yeah, you can't really...
What was the stat? They were like, Spirit was 6-2 at TI with Mars, and everyone else combined were like 8-20 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're quite the anomaly, to be honest. No reason why they won TI. Still looking for what Execration can pull out. Will be the Medusa. Okay, so a relatively good IO pairing. You've got your win condition as well to head towards the later stages. Bit concerned if they can actually make it there, though, because I feel like if Omega go for a hero that can push the tempo here and really get in the face of Execration and let the TA to hit those item timings, then it could be really worrying.
What about a Riki? I want to kind of see a Riki come out for Omega here. Something that can build into the Diffusal Blade to deal with the Medusa's mana a little bit. You can get on the backlines and you just take out the Disruptor quite quickly. You know, hell, even just the Smokescreen for the Void Spirit can be quite nice. You know, force him to optimize into a little bit more defensive than he might like to. And, you know, you're great at roaming around with that Grimstroke and Lion pairing as well.
I'd love the Riki. I think it's an exceptional Riki game. I'm just, against all the heroes, I'd be so happy for them to pick it up. Great lane with the Grimstroke. Versus the Mars, you've got damage that you can do from behind, so you don't have to worry about the bulwark. You get out of the arena. Great silence versus multiple heroes. I think they definitely need some type of hero like that really needs one item and then can start really making a lot of plays. It can be an issue, though, if you don't get Diffusal Blade at a good timing. You can really start to tail off, but it's definitely a hero like that I think Omega need.
Yeah, something like, I don't know... some form of boots into Orb of Corrosion into Diffusal Blade is how I would look to build it.
You may now select your heroes.
Ember instead. I mean, it's a good pairing, and it's going to be a safe lane TA.
Yeah, so they were on the ball in regards to TA heading to the safe lane. Krish getting his very, very comfortable Ember Spirit, and it's looking like a pretty goddamn good Ember game as well. I mean, the matchup versus the Void Spirit is very favorable, especially with how much magic damage you have to be able to trade versus the Void. just a little bit of control in the chains, and always you've got more mobility, especially once you can get down to the Aghanims. And we've seen Ember, even though I really thought the 0.1 cast point change to the active remnant, we're going to see the hero start to tail off a little bit, but it still feels like this hero is just dominating.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's still totally fine. And honestly, even on land, it's going to be even less pronounced. It's more prominent when it's like you've got a decent amount of lag. So, maybe if we were to see it come about, it was probably in that game that we saw previously with Yangon Galacticos, where they might have had a little bit more of a lag issue. But not the case. Young PH played well in both games, even though they weren't able to get the chocolates in game number 1. How do we feel about these drafts, though? I want to see how they actually do go about these lanes. I feel like the IO has to be together with the Deucer, just because, you can get that early point into the mana shield. IO Deucer is great because, of course, not only are you refreshing the HP, but the mana pool as well. So I think it's just a solid pick all throughout. I am still a little bit worried about, just pure man fighting against the TA. So the Deucer needs to put the priority on just killing everyone else first, and then trying to deal with a TA in more of a 1v, not even a 1v1, like a 3v1 matchup after everyone else is dead.
Yeah, I got a bit of issues right now in regards to how you can make plays for the side of Omega. I think it's very, very reliant on the Ember having a good game, because you've got to. I mean, you can combine the Ember with the Grimstroke, but apart from that, I am not a huge fan of like a double range lane in TA Grimstroke. Like, I think Grimstroke always should be paired up with a melee, which are they actually doing that? Yeah, okay, it looks like Zenki is playing the 5 line, but even then, I mean, it's still a double range where you can't really get as active and kill threat wise in the laning stage, which can be a little bit of an issue. But I mean, Dai have Mars that can get up in your face. You got the Void Spirit that can also start the fights. So we'll see if that's going to be enough to make a lot of the space for Deucer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a really strong lineup, though, for when they do start to make those rotations. Yes, it's important that Krish has a good laning stage, but you've got the hero to do it. You're very, very strong against the Void Spirit in lane. And then Lion, Grimstroke paired together with you. Everyone except the Deucer dies, and honestly, maybe even the Deucer.
To battle.
I think, though, if there's a game where Krish can kind of show how strong he can be as a position too, it definitely could be this game. I think the Ember looks incredibly free, and he's going to have to make an exceptional amount of plays. Just give that space to Prince. But I'm going to give the edge here to Omega. I feel like they can run over this game once Prince gets that first Aegis and just really suffocate the map. Execration have this X Factor in the Deucer and the Eye. We're going to see a huge fight breaking out. And already Krish picking up first blood. That's a sight you want to see if you're an Omega fan.
First point in the meld, actually. Looking to try and take him out. Don't think he'll have the attack range, actually, considering he doesn't have any points in the side blade to be able to catch out BDZ. So the Ball of Light, more focused on floating away than getting multiple. Well, actually, he'll get a couple of high fives out.
Like the D-Ward too. Oh, don't let it.
You gotta pretend like you didn't see it,
Let's see how this is gonna fare. What side lane do we feel like we have to put more attention into in regards to kill threat opportunities?
Probably this bottom lane, just because, Tino, of course, you mentioned the IO. Mars pairing, it can be very strong early on, but with that point into the meld, you can dish out a ton of damage super early. Like, Lion doesn't have bad right-click damage. 51 isn't terrible for a support.
And you're going up against heroes that don't have the greatest armor. I mean, Mars has got 2 at the moment, and, I mean, IO is currently sitting on 3, so...
You've also got a lot less HP to play with on the IO as well. 300 less than the Mars, so could be the focus.
Going to be some issues here in regard to how they can at least trade early, but I feel like level 2s on Dire is going to be a very strong...
Top side, RR.
Be able to find another kill as Van and Aaron to get aggressive up in the face. I mean, this is... it definitely feels like both side lanes are relatively weak. I mean, Dire can just spam out the abilities with Thunderstrike and Mystic Snake, but Raiden are really the ones with the kill threat.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure how how smart it is to just be going on into Tino. He's still got plenty of resources for regen. You've got the headdress finished up by Io. Means he can even go away, make sure to do this little bit of a fake block, even though they've already got it warded up. And yeah, he's just getting more and more regen delivered out to himself.
I tried again for RR. Is Aaron actually going to get it himself? Tide, you backed away, didn't even get any right-click damage off. He wants to pop the mango for the stroke, but doesn't get one more right-click to bring him down to the threshold. But regardless, the self popped. There's a lot of resources brought out to this lane, though, from RR. He's got 5 tangos and 3 mangoes.
Lane's going pretty well for Omega, but I'm seeing a surprising number of denies come out, particularly from the Mars and the Ember Spirit. A couple of range creeps actually in both lanes being taken away that probably shouldn't have been. So that might affect the EXP, but Prince is doing a good job to make sure he's harassing with the denies that he's able to secure.
Do you feel like there's any way that they can turn this matchup a little bit more favorable mid for Bob? I mean, even saying that, actually, look at the last hits. Bob is 15 and 6 compared to the 12 and 1. So in a matchup that on paper is not the greatest, Bob's doing a really good job.
He is. I mean, that goes down to what I was talking about before, right? The being able to secure a few last hits. He was trying for some cheeky sleight of fist combos, but Bob somehow has just managed to secure a couple of range creep denies that, yeah, he probably shouldn't have. So, I mean, rotations through are going to be nice, I suppose, but you don't exactly have the highest kill supports with the Disruptor and the Io there. You don't want to leave a Medusa on an island on her own, so it'd be up to RR to, you know, maybe try and change the creep equilibrium, but he hasn't worried about dewarding this camp until now. I mean, it's the 7-minute mark of the game, and now you've actually got an okay amount of kill threat on this top side if you leave the Deucer alone.
It's going to be all off the back of how heavy they can babysit. You know, maybe even the stacks as well. With bottom going relatively well, and if the creep equilibrium is pushed out like it is, then maybe BDZ can, you know, think about backing off and trying to start to create those stacks for Marb's Deucer.
Zenki's doing a great job so far, giving TA a good lane, and also making sure that there's not any water runes on the bottom side of the river for Bob. Completely pushing him all the way back to the fountain. Just looking to manipulate the wave so it meets right in the middle on his side of the river. So nicely done there by Omega.
Was a very good start, at least in regards for Radiant, but they still don't have this net worth lead, even though they have the 2-kill advantage. So lanes for Dire have to be very happy, but it's just still going to play off the back of, I feel like the level 6s is where we're going to see the next, you know, influx of kills occur.
I think so as well. I mean, much more importantly for those kills to land on Omega's side, late game, you would have to say the Deucer is something that's going to be way too difficult for even a TA to deal with. So, see if that's the case. They're not quite as dependent on taking that Roshan, taking those early objectives, and making kills happen with the
bottom lane.
Lion,
Another
remember.
attempt. They don't have the 6. It doesn't matter. Zenki, Prince get aggressive. I think their Observer Ward on the high ground by the triangle actually scouted out, but Io backed off to try and stack the camp. And you know, top lane, also just a little bit of aggression on Mob, making sure he's never having a free time and always up in the face. But yeah, nice awareness to bring up before that. You know, when is BDZ going to start making the stacks to enable the Deucer? And as soon as he does so, then Mega look to jump.
So Prince rockets himself up towards the top of the net worth there. You've even
on mid lane, Christian Bob battling out. Level 6 is Bob. Oh, we just got the Remnant placement. Nice solo kill for the Void Spirit. Keep in mind, he was against the hero that got first blood as well. So Bob is having a exceptional lane.
He's gonna try for the little steal of the rune. Actually on the top side of the river.
All right, another kill picked up. BDZ hand in hand. He's not going to get the rune, but picking up a second kill in a row for the Void Spirit.
Well, I was considering, do you try and go for this kill attempt onto Bob? He had to use the magic wand previously, so he was sitting pretty low on mana. That still would have had enough for the Astral Step away.
My path leads to riches.
So, great sequence of events though for Dire. Void Spirit is... it's always the case for any spirit, but you really want to be off to a cracking start where you can be the one to control the tempo. Gets a deny as well. My god, Bob is actually just outplaying them at the moment.
Doing a really good job in this mid lane from a lane that should be getting crushed right now. It's still slightly in the lead of the Ember Spirit, but I mean, I think that's to be expected.
RR. Just gonna overstep the boundary. And they were teetering on the edge. Just kind of bait the Disruptor in to contest that stack. Bob and BDZ will finally come over. Van doesn't even have a point in the Ravage, so...
He's just focused on farming. Like, that's not his job right now. Basically, it's only around when the supports get their ultimates that he probably wants to have the point into the Ravage, because the kill threat against the Medusa, it's not really there. So I feel like they're going to look to try and play around the Ravage timing on Van. They're just trying to disrupt the Medusa, it seems, right now.
Well, they'll do an exceptional job at that. How long do they stick around for, though? Because you do have reinforcements coming in the area. RR, along with BDZ, they'll look to target through Zenki. Much easier kill opportunity here instead of the Tide Hunter. Are they even going to get it? No, the Anchor Smash. Not enough damage reduction, so Marb, he's more than happy with being able to pick up that kill. He's also had, you know, at least in regards to net worth, looking pretty happy.
Yeah, but that was a full creep wave that went underneath this tower, though, so it was only one kill that he got for all that time being spent away. Tide Hunter was able to secure some of those stacks, so I think Omega are fine with that trade as well. Also gives him a bunch of that extra experience. Yeah, it's all about the level 6 timing, particularly on the Lion. Not so much the Grimstroke, but definitely the Lions. So if I was Omega, I would be looking to feed Zenki through the Tome of Knowledge, so you can start making these rotations as soon as you can. Speaking of rotations, Krish has been able to spot out this little bit of a stack that's built up here. They've got vision that it's happening, but might be a little bit slow here on Tino to be able to stop it.
Zenki might even get the D-ward in the area with Tino. Connections
Never
out,
mind.
follow-up from Bob. Goodbye, Krish. Eviscerated once again, and Zenki, the pings are coming through. Exactly with the position after he dropped that Observe Ward, and...
You want to spear him to the low ground, though.
Oh, even got to rebuke him down to the low ground, but I'll pick up another kill. Double for Bob. He's dominating. And, I mean, yeah, you give up the hard, but you still at least keep the Ancients rocking.
I don't think they even gave that up. I think Tino actually secured a lot of those last hits with the use of the spear. It's level 3, so it does 250 damage.
How's he looking in regards to net worth? Yeah, Tino's sitting pretty good. Remember, we saw he was a big reason of why Execration took that second map victory over Boom yesterday when he was on the Mars. So
I think it was the reason that they did it.
Is under attack.
Got the Dragon Lance available now on the TA. Was thinking maybe she might just want to get the Blightstone, the OP item, just for how much value it gives, particularly for a lot of this tower taking. They're not in a position to go for Roche just yet, but certainly can in the not too distant future after they look to take the mid tier 1 tower. So 10 minutes about to come up. I want to see that tome purchased by Zenki, please.
Radiant. They're going to look to try and defend this bottom tower. They got the Tide TP in. What's occurring by the power rune? Krish able to get the kill on BDZ. Even Bob's actually going to TP to the area. They're lacking a little bit of lockdown at the moment until Tino actually gets a connection. Christian Trouble bursts it through thanks to the actual step, and another perfect spear from Tino as we're able to transition this into a second kill. And what do you know, Bob is the one to find it.
This is just outplaying happening right now by Execration. Like, they should not be in the lead at this point of the game, but time after time, Krish is unfortunately getting caught out in the wrong spot, really not making full use out of that first blood that he was able to secure for himself. You've got the tome waiting there for the Lion next to the tier 1 tower, so I think that's really where they're looking to make this next rotation through. Still need his level 6 though. Yeah, he'll need a creep still before he's able to make any kind of rotations happen. There we go, he's got it. So 2 smokes available. Needs to join together with Krish as well as Aaron. And I think they want to make the rotation through to the bottom side of the map. You can see now that Vanny's got the point in the Ravage because they've got this actual kill potential.
Prince is the target of Execration smoke. They've also got the Static Storm as well, so they're going to look to use the first one of the game just to blow up the TA as she's trying to farm the Ancients. Radiant. Can they look to get some retribution? Krish go back in after the glimpse. Should be at least a 1-for-1 trade, but you're really not happy with that considering Medusa's just farming across the map, and TA needs to come online a lot faster than what the Deucer does, but they're still able to chase for more. A Finger of Death from Zenki, like you were highlighting, going to be a big reason of how Omega can, start to transition into some more kills.
Okay, well that makes it okay. You at least get the trade. Sure, Medusa's farming, but you don't lose your Ancient stack. You're going to have Prince able to TP straight on back there, but I mean, that sort of thing doesn't happen. The TA doesn't die if those couple of previous kills don't happen onto Krish, right? Like, you get your level 6 earlier on the line, you're able to make the rotation towards the bot side, which they were going for, to be able to connect together with Van, but they just had to turn 180 and try and protect their Ancient stack.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I mean, they've got the Ravage now, but they don't have Finger of Death, so it feels like they're trying to make this play around the mid lane. I'm just not sure how effective it's going to be.
Yeah, how do you take this tower? Medai don't have Glyph.
There's no static storm either. That's the one thing that they can be somewhat happy about.
I mean, Tina also TP'd back to the wall, and they don't have Bob in the area. Maybe they don't even need those two heroes. They're 3 from Execration, pushing back Omega, but with Stone Gaze on cooldown, I think that's now the signal for Omega to take this.
Yeah. Well, they get something going back in their favor right now on Omega, looking like a fairly even game at this point. Deuce has been able to take a couple of these Ancient stacks up, still having a very good game, getting very, very close to the Manta style as well, although TA is kind of in a similar boat, getting quite close to her Desolator, which she'll use to take that Roshan now that you don't have as quick a buyback response available from Execration. They understand, though, that they can look to make this one more rotation before the Finger of Death is up online, so the potential for a turnaround isn't quite so much there. Blink Dagger as well on Tino is going to look to catch someone out. Not sure
Smoke
if they
on
spotted
smoke.
out that smoke.
I think they have the high ground advantage where they saw, thanks to daytime. So RR still gonna lead on forward. Tino, blink reveal, but instant remnant at least gets Krish out to safety with a wraparound as well. Glimpse a little bit too late to at least prevent the Ravage, but there's no damage follow-up afterwards, so you're happy with wasting that ultimate. Krish still looking to try and target down the Disruptor, but he's got to be cautious of how long he sticks around because he's burnt away a lot of his mana. So Bob's just going to look to try and target down with the Ember Spirit. Keep in mind, this is a team fight that's breaking up without the Templar Assassin. You don't have the carry to look to get involved, and in fact, it's already Marb on Dire that's even showing up at the moment. So the extra +1 advantage for Execration will secure them a nice little skirmish win.
Nearly thought that the Ember Spirit would get away there. Van did a good job of making sure he was right in the center of that team fight. Even though he's not doing much damage, he made sure to get the Anchor Smash off onto the Medusa. So even with the overcharge, she wasn't doing all that much in the team fight. It felt like most of the damage was being done
mid
by...
lane. Bob, is he in trouble? Finger of Death? Yes, he is. Zenki. Another great use of the Finger of Death. Felt like it just came off cooldown.
It's definitely the case, and with that, Prince, he's been able to close the gap. So now sitting actually ahead of the Medusa on experience, level 12, and with one more kill, he will be able to get that Desolator for himself. He's been able to open up a whole big portion of the map that they can look to play around. So nicely done by Omega to be able to salvage what was looking like a really poor start after securing that first blood for themselves. Krish has come back into this game. He's having a lot more impact than he did at the very start.
They even opt them for a very early BKB here from Krish, so it's going to be a bit rough though. If he dies maybe once or twice in a row, then his item progression as the game goes on is going to be very lacking, and it feels like it's a game where you need Ember to really skyrocket in farm because, a Dusa late game is a big threat.
Yeah, for sure. He's nearly picked up the Mithril Hammer component at least, and they might look to try and defend around this mid tower, considering it is the siege creep wave. Going for a bit of a wraparound here with the kill threats.
Bob, once again, the Hex timing. Tina's going to look to try and disrupt them and give the opportunity for the IO to save Bob. They'll do so successfully now. Look to aim down the Templar Assassin. It's cut through his Prince. Zenki's going to do him in the afterlife, but Van and Krish still looking to posture aggressively. The Ravage not at the ready. Krish has got to be careful of the chain control. Still a couple remnants to play around with. Now finally, he'll look for the reset. But Zenki even buying back, so they want to feel like they can stick around, recognizing that the Ravage is up and ready to rock and roll. Fantasy want to block it at the last second. They get the help of the Eye, but that extra sustain is not enough to keep Bob alive, and now they can turn their attention to focus through the Ball of Light. And now with the buyback and the huge team fight from Execration, they can push them back.
They did exactly what I was expecting them to need to, right? Like, you just can't kill the Medusa. You need all of your cooldowns available if you're trying to burst her down without the assistance coming through from the IO's mechanism. And even then, it's a really tough task. So the fact that the team fight didn't start the exact way that Omega wanted, they changed their strategy. They went for the squishier targets, and then, you know, they still didn't get the kill on the Medusa for sure. They were at least able to salvage something out of that team fight.
Looks like they'll salvage a little bit more as well if they can find this Roshan. Prince with the help of Van. It's only 1 point in Gush, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
should be Roshan claimed. Dire. They're going to ward near the area. They are starting to swing on over. It's actually not the fastest Rosh at all.
Tino's got Arena available.
Well, now,
on the mana.
when you have to stick around, you cannot let the Templar Assassin not get this first Aegis. With only about a third health left on Rosh. What's the play call from Omega?
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They're a little hesitant to fight into the double damage right now. They know that they won't have Ravage, so that's the key component. Yeah, it'd be absolute disastrous if Omega looked to give up this Roshan to Execration. They do not have a Rosh taking lineup.
They don't even care about how weak Rosh was. They're just going to look to try and take this tower. The importance of the objective still. Ravage on cooldown, so this defense not easy from Omega, and it looks like they might just be giving it up as Prince is trying to farm down bottom at the moment.
He's still got his TP available. He'll probably look to join just before the tower goes down. Maybe clear out this one more creep wave.
Tino's even trying to find the angle. He'll just get that. Arrow and a spear drag back. No way you can keep the Grimstroke alive now with this positioning.
Nicely done again by Tino, just enabling this team to be able to fight, take a lot of these objectives, and now, even though you've got Ravage up in 13 seconds, no Grimstroke, and there's no easy way for them to quickly, you know, use that potential buyback and rejoin the team fight. He's just walking around with this creep wave on top of him, really wanting to give as much money over to TA as possible. Only 200 gold away from that Blink Dagger, but she won't have it in time, you wouldn't think, before this Roshan.
So
they're even pinging out, wanting to like build up another stack so that Prince can take it. And I think he's just saying, look, I need this Blink Dagger right now. I cannot wait for the next stack to spawn. And he'll get it. So it's all about trying to invade onto the backlines now. You've already got the Ember Spirit that can do it with the assistance of the Inkswell. Blink Dagger on Tidehunter, Blink Dagger on the TA. So I think they're going to go for a wraparound, go the long way. The scan already coming out on the top left side, so that might be the way that they look to move, or it could just reveal that they're on the right-hand side. If they run into Tino before he can blink away, that'd be huge.
They see Roshan out. Prince actually just gets inside the pit thanks to the smoke. Tino. They just get the vision afterwards. I don't think they know this is happening. Someone's going to walk inside. Prince going to take it at a decent rate. All right, okay, there we go. They got the vision. Prince will jump out. Tino finds a connection. There's the instant stun. Ara can now lay down the static storm, but Krish, he can look to disrupt this with the help of the BKB. They're going to turn to 2 with the Mars. It's enough damage to bring down Tino, but it's going to buy back and going to look to rejoin the fight. How does it break out afterwards, though, Van?
Rosh is so low.
Rosh, who's going to be able to find the Aegis? Still on the deck at the moment. No one's claimed it till Mal. Snags the second life, and now they've been able to lock through Prince. Gets rid of the Assassin. Van, the next on the agenda as well is Execration. Once again, another successful team fight by the mouth of the pit.
It cost them the Mars buyback, but it's another great arena coming through from Tino. You know, he was biding his time. He was wanting to wait out that BKB timing on Krish. Unfortunately for him, there was just too much burst damage to be able to take him down. But they're definitely punishing the fact that this TA does not have that BKB. Not even close to having it, actually. Still needing the Mithril Hammer and the recipe component. Of course, being able to disassemble that Dragon Lance. So it'd be a little worrisome for Tino if he gets caught out here, though. Zanki's in position.
I'm going to try and relocate for the extra +2. I mean, it's a beautiful Earth Spike. Wait, is someone going to die? Maybe? Tino? He's got Blink up in a couple of seconds. They don't have great vision behind Aaron, so no one dies.
Nice play by Zanki.
Beautiful timing on that Earth Spike. See, Krish is now starting to go into the Maelstrom after that BKB, so he's looking for some way to keep up with his farm.
Even just small things, like if you get lucky and the Maelstrom proc is enough to disable the Mars Blink Dagger, you know, that could be the sort of thing that can turn a team fight around. But it's a Skadi now that they're having to contend to on Marb. He's level 15, so not the highest in the form of levels, but, you know, that comes off the fact that you're sharing a lot with BDZ, so He's got that relocate 90-second cooldown. He's got the attack speed talent, as well as having, of course, the overcharge to be able to assist with all that. So it shouldn't be too much that Omega can do to stop a lot of this tower push. Still 30 seconds away from the Ravage, still 60 seconds away from the Finger of Death. The kill threat just isn't there right now for Marb, especially with the amount of times that Prince has died because he doesn't have the BKB.
Are you worried that Omega weren't able to get the first Aegis timing, which TA really relies on?
Oh yeah, I think it's a disaster. This is a big win for Execration, the fact that they were able to take it. I mean, have a look at what the win probability did as a result of that. It just completely slumped down. It was, you know, still a little bit in Execration's favor because it was a Medusa going into the late game. But after picking that up, it's just increased another 20% more in Execration's favor.
Let's give it more time for Marb to continue getting these next set of items as well. Crystal is completed. I wonder if Marb actually even thinks about Silver's Edge this game to give them an aspect to deal with the Tide Hunter. I mean, it's an item that, you know, nerfed slightly. Maybe last patch it could have been the option for the Deucer.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think they're overly concerned about the Tide Hunter. I feel like it's just like, who can we afford to get ravaged, basically, is what they're thinking about right now. So it's going to get to the stage where they just want to put Marb on the front lines, and Bobby's been playing out of his mind, so I think they can afford to have him up there as well, realizing that you're probably going to be able to get a Dissimilate or an Astral Step off in time.
Yeah, Bob's working on the Aghanim Scepter as well for the next item, so it just makes it that much more difficult for the supports, but potentially Aaron, if he's able to find the items. Is this actually Aghanim's completed? I think it is for Aaron, so they will have a pretty solid Dark Portrait target here.
Yeah, he's going to need to be very quick with how he's positioning it, though. You don't want it to just be standing around the Medusa who's just split-shotting with that overcharge. It still takes a lot of physical damage, even though the rest of the team isn't going to be able to deal with it at all. So I feel like you just need to take it away from the Medusa as quickly as possible.
Radiant.
There's that BKB.
They're smoked up. Van leading the charge. Great vision of the moment from Omega. Van wants the initiation as well. Tino actually just mindlessly blinks in forward. Wasn't anticipating the position of Omega, and well, at least he'll get a kill out of it, and instantly you see Radiant look to reposition themselves.
I'll get rid of one of the Observer Wards, but not the second one that spotted out the IO that entire time. So there's it's not the worst situation. I don't think that catches the smoke. They were all sort of clumped around
Van's
that
in
staircase.
a good spot. Oh, they see the Stroke of Fate. Smoke pop instantly, the blink away. Poor old Aaron. That's a life of support.
But yeah,
where's Dark Portrait? Sorry? Gone.
It got deleted.
Alright, so they got another 30 seconds of Aegis. Doesn't look like they'll get too much out of it. They do still have big issues with catch on Dire. It's nice at least... I mean, RR's getting a decent amount of farm, honestly. Can they get Prince? He's got BKB. Relocate's coming out as well. Prince needs to be fast enough for the BKB TPR. Maybe the story gains timing. Oh! Just shy. Marb dropping the sorry. Would have been a big pick off to find. And now they're trying to set up for the relocate, Bob. Already in the area to protect.
Aegis gone.
Aegis just ticks out as well. They'll try and target through BDZ. They need to get the steroid out of the hands of the Medusa, but BDZ still alive. Too much time wasted now as Omega. Without getting the pick off, they need a retreat. Think twice of how they can take the angle to the team fight. As Van stuck inside the kinetic field. No escape for the Tide.
Wow, not popping the Ravage either. I'm really surprised about that. They had the outnumber. You knew that they were on the top side of the map. You had the vision to understand where they were moving around on Execration.
Tino's going to jump in again. Finds another speed connection. Tino this game on the Mars has been on point at finding Krish. Do they want to think twice about diving Aaron? Tino just gives him that little bit of vision to drag him back.
Who needs Aegis? You know, Marb can just sit there on the front lines. The fact that BDZ still didn't die after all that, I was... What's the right word? Flabbergasted that it was allowed to happen. You know, this is an IO. This is the steroid like you mentioned, but, I mean, if you're not even able to just kill it, like, you need to be focusing on just removing this ball of light, not just kiting it around, you know, forcing it to be away, not to buff up. He's just dangerous in his own right, purely for the relocate potential.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Crack the high ground and Execration.
Middle barracks are under attack.
And been able to accumulate a 9,000 net worth lead now. See that probability continuing to grow as well. And Tino back into this refresher build.
If it works for the man, I can't knock it.
He's got a very interesting outlook on Mars, which I find very, very fascinating. Like, this is now 3 games in a row we've seen him go for it.
Yeah, he was copying Massaros a little bit as well.
That's true. So Massaros went for it, those 2 games.
He
Then
did it too.
Yeah, he did it in that game versus Boom. I just got my games confused. I thought he played 3 games instead of the 2. Oh, yeah, okay, he does have the Silver's Edge. Got the reveal on Krish. Instantly answered with the BKB Ravage as well. But, I mean, you haven't dealt with the IO. So BDZ coming hand in hand. I've dealt all the meta at the moment. Deuce is still going to be cautious. Stone Gaze giving an opportunity to retreat. A beautiful placement of the arena as well. Allows Execration to reset the positioning. But now to the northern side. There's no damage followed with the Static Storm. It's mainly just being a nuisance for Krish. But once it expires, they can look to jump in for more. It's Van recognizing the importance. No! They don't get the IO. Still, they haven't been able to kill him. And Bob sticking around. Tino as well. A miss on the speed. Do they want to bring that back to Medusa after the relocate? Bob's been caught out down to the southern side. A great start with Yo Spike, and Prince follows up.
It was a good fight for Omega, but it could have been a great one. Again, they just ignore the IO. He was able to get everything off. He got off his mech, he got off his overcharge, he got off the relocate. He even had time to move back and use a healing salve, all while tethered together with a Medusa while she's being purely focused out.
Yeah, there's some big issues right now for Radiant with how they can deal with this IO. Do you feel like they, regardless, have the lineup, or is it just the fact that maybe they're not putting enough attention to prioritize him?
They're not prioritizing it. I mean, they've got 2 Blink Daggers on their cores, and the one that doesn't is Ember Spirit, who could just Flame Remnant in on top of him. What defensive tools does the IO have outside of a Glimmer Cape? All you need to be holding is a Dust, which Krish has.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's... I mean, exactly right. We're just seeing like them start on different heroes. They win that fight. Regardless, you win the fight, but it's still... It's not giving you as much confidence, because if this fight looks slightly different, then Dire with the IO Dusa combined. Like, one more item on Dusa and you might just penalize them from not blowing up the IO. So you really have to make that switch up.
I mean, she's nearly level 20. Like, now you have that Mystic Snake mana gain, so much more sustainable now. She was holding on to a possessed mask that entire time. Now she's actually dishing out a good amount of damage with the Enchanted Quiver.
That damage is going to continue to skyrocket as well. Aghanim's also completed for RR, so that's a big item. I mean, he's going to go Yule Scepter, gives you that great setup, just Yule Static Storm, lay it down, and nothing anyone can do against it. But,
I mean, hate the Ghost Scepter on him, though.
I was even going to say the Aghanim Shard, but probably they're hoping they get that from second Roche, because they don't have the greatest lineup with Ag Shard. I mean, Void Spirit's already got his. You could argue the Mars, but we got to smoke up. Once again, Van, pretty similar positioning that we saw last time, but this time a break, so he won't get the vision advantage to blink away. The instant burst simultaneously down to the river. Krish is looking to try and find at least his own pick off, but the BKB now completely for naught. This is with Roshan available. Now, Bob's actually going to look to jump the high ground, targeting the supports. Double use of the Resonant Pulse. Zenki still will be the sacrifice.
Even a Tidehunter gets burst like that, huh? And this is a Tidehunter with Halberd, Blast Rig, Hood of Defiance. You know, so it certainly makes you feel a little bit fearful if you're on the side of Omega Esports, and that's second Roche as well. So Aghanim Shard, well, that's why the Disruptor didn't need to buy it. Surely they'll look to give it over to him.
I hope so. I really do.
It could be Tino. I'd be happy with Tino to have it.
Tino's played a very good Mars.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I just rate this Ag Shard on Disruptor way too highly. And you got someone who's going to heavily utilize it too.
Yeah, but you know they're going to use it on Tamab though. Like, just be that greedy. Look at him, he's freeing up the item spot. I mean, it's probably for the ages, but still. Wonder if they'll even give it to the IO.
What's the IO's on?
The tether. Like, if you go into the tether range, it actually stuns you.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Boo, Medusa.
Man, come on. Oh, I'm hearing a BKB. What's going on, Tino? A lockdown Aaron thanks to the Aghanim Shard, but another beautiful arena, man. Tino. His placements with these ultimates. It's not enough to lock through Van. The extra heroes don't get involved, but Still a pick off.
They've got so many items now. You've just had the butterfly delivered over to Marb. You don't have the Grimstroke available, so that the Dark Portrait isn't going to have its max effectiveness. Wave pushing in with Aegis backing you up. I mean, the Cold-Blooded is nice, just like I said before, the Mystic Snake mana game.
Might be in trouble. Let's see if they can burst it down. Van, no messing around. Just drops the Ravage, but he's going to buy back if he wants to rejoin the fight.
Gotta kill the Io.
They might not be able to, I mean, they might not even need him. Io sitting further on the backline. They've leashed the Io and Deucer together, so we won't be able to play at that max range like you're hoping for. But Marb, he's just called the retreat. Stone Gaze, let's reset.
And they got the buyback out of Eren as well. I think that was like, he had very little time left on his death as well. So they could just wait it out, maybe try and force a buyback out of Execration with Bob still on the sidelines for 50 seconds. They're content to play around this high ground though. The roaming trio.
Oh, I see them. All grouped up. About the Ravage though, so it's going to be Krish to lead. Got to be cautious of the Static Storm as well. So Krish is playing his distance until Van jumps. They'll just waste the Static Storm. Another pick off here from Omega. So doing a good job to delay any Aegis siege that was you're hoping to come out through the early stages.
Even Zenking looking to try and equalize the levels a little bit by taking back the outpost, which feels like it's been in Execration's control for quite a while.
Give this guy a blink dagger. Jesus.
He's doing a lot with not too much, I'll say that.
Let's not look at his deaths though.
Tactical.
Tactical. Yes, ever so tactical. This next one, oh, maybe not next one coming up. Pretty tanky on the Mars still. BKB, ready and waiting. Tino doesn't get the connection on the outskirts, but Marb now starting to get involved. The rest of Radiant trying to converge in the area. The Dark Portrait just rips apart the Mars, so he doesn't get the use out of the refresher. A 3-on-4, they'll just rip apart the Tidehunter. Marb so incredibly farm. These crits starting to fly on out. They can look to target through Prince as well. Glimpse, no, he doesn't time the blink. He recognizes, we can just pop BKB, TP out.
It just goes to show how important that Dark Portrait is, right? It nearly single-handedly took out two different heroes there in the Io and the Mars. And this is a Mars, like a tanky Mars who had his Bulwark up as well, I believe. Facing it, reducing all of that damage, but the damage output is just way too high.
Yeah, I feel like there now needs to be a lot of attention put onto the Grimstroke here, whether it's Bob, whether it's Tino, to get that jump. I mean, the supports are so incredibly important. It's a lot of their control throughout the fights as well. Like you're saying, I mean, without that Dark Portrait, I feel like these fights could just be very favored for Execration.
Yeah, they already are, but even more so. And you know, it was a decent arena, just considering he had freshly picked up the refresher. He felt confident to be able to pop it alongside his BKB. But yeah, you just saw how different it is when you don't have a TA there, if you don't have the Grimstroke with the Medusa Dark Portrait to be able to take him down. And that was what? Finger of Death, Ember Spirit, and a little bit of Grimstroke. Still can't take down a Mars.
They do at least have the answer to the Butterfly. Prince has got the MKB completed now. There are just two lone heroes the bottom side of the map from Omega. Marb and Io are not the greatest Roman duo to get these kills.
How often do you see an Io go into a BKB?
Oh my. Okay. I mean, I really don't hate it. I feel like it just literally anything to keep you alive.
I mean, it's understandable, right? Like, the
Tino,
first line
jump.
of
They've caught out the Grimstroke. That's the key priority we've been speaking about. But a further team fight will not break out. So BKB, arena drop, but maybe with the death they can look to walk up high ground. They've still got Aegis for another 5 seconds.
Has been killed.
Just going to reload back to the bot side, push in the bot lane. Yeah, no harm, no foul. But yeah, I mean, it gives you that second line of defense, the BKB on the Io, right? He's going to look to, when he gets jumped on by the Ember Spirit, use the Glimmer Cape. He's going to have a Dust at the ready to try and take him out. Then you can just BKB, and you're not really all that concerned about it.
How can they mount the defense?
Double siege creeps as well.
More than likely just going to have to wait for the Grimstroke.
Radiant's bottom
Radiant,
tower
maybe they can
has
find an
fallen.
angle if they wrap all the way
Dire's
around.
top
You see
tower
how
is under attack.
dire positioning though. Tino
Radiant's
are
bottom barracks
so
are
far in the
under
back line, so they don't get caught by the
Radiant are
Ravage.
scanning. Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
They're patient. They're playing it well on Execration, respecting the Grimstroke. Their memories are quite good. They remember how effective that Dark Portrait is going into the Medusa, so you definitely don't want it, to be there on the front lines. Still, though, Deuce are very, very close to being able to pick up that level 25 talent. That extra split shot modifiers, especially when you've got the Eye of Skadi. You've got this crit coming from the Silver Edge, and you've even got these tier 4 items coming out as well. Damn it, Trickster Cloak. Pretty handy.
Radiant trying to find an angle into this game. Smoked up, but they haven't found anyone just yet. If they can drop the ward on the high ground, this might be a decent spot for them to take the fight. Van instantly, once again, dropping the Ravage, the recognition, just to deal with the Mars. They'll take him out of the fight, but keep in mind now, that's no Ravage. They're going to have to reset. Decide if they want to stick around or not as Mob. I mean, this Medusa is just... remains undefeated right now. How do Kill and Break is out, combined up with BDZ. They're still unable to target the Io. Bob, Remnant up at the moment, is going to be cautious. He can reset his own positioning once again, but Prince is never able to lock onto a target. BKB is going to protect himself for Glimpse. Not successful. Bob, can he find the angle onto Zenki? No, they won't even need it. Skadi slow. Krish still just playing the outskirts as well, so another very awkward fight from Omega.
It is. That one in particular was on Aaron. He just walked up into a Stone Gaze and ends up getting 3-shot. I think he was targeted in particular by Bob. He made sure to get both of his Resonant Pulses onto him to have the full silence duration onto him, so he wasn't able to get that Dark Portrait or the Soulbind off. Feeds his life away, and again, you don't have the damage to win these team fights unless you get the Medusa Dark Portrait happening.
I mean, Bob's catch potential is through the roof. He even completed the Blink Dagger, so just recognizing the importance of getting on top of these supports as best as possible.
He's 25 as well with the Aghanim Shard completed, so good luck trying to play the game if you're here sitting here on
another
Zenki.
jump in. Grimstroke shows himself and instantly is going to be thinking twice about that one in the grave. Yeah, cool. Medusa's by himself. Yeah, pretty much got 4,000 health to play with. Krish as well, trying to push away the backline, but Medusa's just like, yep, cool. Don't really give a damn, guys. What are you going to do against me? They've caught out Krish once again. Tino, he's been on points with the spears so far this game. Krish has just really not been able to put a footholding into this.
That is the longest Aether Remnant I've ever seen. The taunt stun going for a very long range there, but this game is over. Unfortunately.
Just another jump from Bob.
Bob's enabling them so much.
Without a doubt, it's just the recognition. Let's deal with the supports. We sing the praises, and whenever you do that, the caster's curse always flies through. But Mob, objective-based gaming, through and through. Second full set of barracks now claimed.
I think you're fine to do that. It's just creating space.
Oh no.
Yeah.
62 health.
It's just about creating space. Now, I feel that they go for the relocate play here, just 100%. to take it out. You know, honestly, bring him and Disruptor.
just the eye,
just to be a little cheeky.
Just anyone, bring some of the boys.
Do it as soon as they reveal.
You gotta go.
As soon as they reveal, here they are, revealing. Let me hear that sound.
Well, Bob's backstabbing.
Radiant are scanning.
Run into the tight onto the moment. Bob's a bit away from the team. Can they look to penalize BDZ? Beautiful timing on that relocate. God damn, he should have gone for the racks instead of the base. Come on.
Now they're setting up for him. No Bob. This is a little worrying if I'm Execration right now.
All right, they won't bring it back.
See, imagine if they just went and got the bot racks instead.
Yep. I'm all for it. I'm in agreement. Just get that bottom racks.
They're just ratting. They're just ratting with the illusions.
Now, will they do enough damage?
Oh, I think they will. Get it. Get it. Come on, the split shots reducing the damage.
Someone. Okay. Wait, what's happened on mid? What, TA? What are you doing here? Oh no.
I mean, that's the Ag Static Storm coming into the equation. Otherwise, he would have BKB'd and been able to get away. But
now Van's caught as well down bottom. Bob seems to be everywhere across the map. Ben's just going to attempt the TP out, but they make sure they got the vision.
Shortest clips of all time.
Now he's going to have to buy back instantly. He's got the Ravage for this last defense, but they're not going to get in position fast enough to keep a set of barracks and prevent the Megas. Van jumps in, but where's the TA follow-up? Still not there at the moment. Ira down, so they won't have the extra steroid for the Medusa. Tino's going to try and position the arena to protect her, but it's not enough. They've killed us. At least a decent target. Tino will tip the BKB into the TP out. Simultaneously, Bob able to get himself out to safety. Is such a slippery beast to be able to deal with.
Heavy cost, though. 3 buybacks. Megas completed, and all it really cost you is the Deucer. Wasn't able to pop the Satanic, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure that was even without the Dark Portrait. So, I mean, the big thing for mine that needs to change is Aaron, he's, for whatever reason, just taking the front line way too many times. You know, you need to be playing behind the rest of your team. You could see he's going into something like an Aeon Disc, which, you know, I understand and I appreciate that, but I feel like just playing more defensively and picking up something like a Blink Dagger would feel much better for what the team's going to do. And, yeah,
they're coming over to contest this. No Ravage. Only 3 heroes from Omega. Static Storm drop on a beautiful ulti. They'll still push him out. Prince claim the Aegis. Cheese and Refresher side. Honestly, Radiant, they got everything. Okay, I thought that was going to be so much worse.
Tide can have the Refresher for sure.
No, go back Rapier. Prince, he had it queued up, but he...
I mean, I would.
You just got to make it or break it. Maybe it feels like Refresher Shard can be a bit of a condition for them to win the next fight.
I mean, it's at the stage where you need to win every single fight right now, right?
Yeah.
So Rapier's the way that's going to make that happen. I suppose maybe feeling he was a little bit closer to the Swift Blink since he already has one of the key components for it, but it's not going to be a horrible item.
It's definitely not. Definitely not. But it just feels like... I still, even though they picked up that 3rd Roche, it's
Tino.
a lot of fights they have to win.
Oh, good reaction times there.
I think it was the Sentry over. Chris actually going to jump.
Tino will be fine. He's got the BKB.
He's happy to force that one out. And Ember's playing with the Ags. There's a DD up top that people are starting to ping, but yeah, Radiant, there's no opportunity to go ahead and pick that one up. So Execration, that really just going to look to suffocate Radiant inside the base. There already items we're waiting for them.
For Radiant?
To die.
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I feel like they've got everything that they could possibly need. Just that double damage feels like the one for me.
Radiant are scanning.
Void Spirit's gone a day gone.
Let's go, Bob. 19, 6, and 16. My God.
I'm liking Tino's positioning here as well. He's got the vision, so he knows exactly where they are, and he's just making sure he's as invisible as possible. Also level 25, by the way.
Oh, alright. It's over. Agam shot on Disruptor. DD on Mob. Prince is showing.
Oof.
Buybacks ever so lacking. Tino able to find the opener. They're going to look to penalize him here. What an earth spike followed up by the Ravage. That's the fight they're looking for, but the instant silence disrupts the 2nd Ravage. A Stone Gaze will give them the opportunity, so Templar Assassin unable to do anything with a follow-up ultimate from Vamp, but now they've dealt with all the backline. A Maker. Hold on a second. Did they have 3 Ravages? Earthspike made it feel like that.
Yeah, for sure. And they, again, didn't deal with the Dark Portrait. That ended up doing the vast majority of the damage in the team fight. The main priority for the Deucer wasn't the Dark Portrait illusion, and it really should be at this stage. You know, it just dishes out way too much damage, and Deucer is the only one that can deal with it.
There's no chance.
Well, you don't say no chance. The only reason that happened is because Tino was a little bit too far forward. He still had 10 seconds left on his BKB cooldown, and he didn't want to use the Refresher Orb.
Can they? I mean, Prince has Aegis. You can't go for some Static Storm play. They'll still try it. They'll get rid of the first life. Looks like they're happy with that. So, Arena, Static Storm. I mean, Static Storm doesn't have the biggest cooldown. 61 thanks to the Quickening Charm.
And you've used the Refresher now on Tino.
And it creeps. How are the creeps getting cut?
Good question.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Only buyback in the game is the Deuces. They don't have the Ember at the moment. No boots of travel, so going to be difficult for him to connect.
They also had the Inkswell, by the way, on the Dark Portrait Illusion, just healing it up that little bit to keep it alive. I'm telling you, that is honestly the main source of damage on this team. And it sucks because it doesn't show up on the fight recap either.
It doesn't show up with how much damage Grim's doing?
Okay. Nope.
Well, what are we looking item-wise next? TA 3,200 gold in the bank. Well, I actually want to see the probability after that. So it's down to, I mean, it's 5%. It was 100 before. Right. So give yourselves an opportunity. How much of a swing was that too? Jesus Christ, that's a big one. What was it? Man, I miss the old graph, honestly. I just miss it so much.
Give me multiple graphs, you know?
I just, oh my. Ben doesn't have the first Ravage just yet. They're going to instantly jump RR. Prince was able to get the BKB off fast enough, and well, Krish is actually looking to hunt for more. If they can target down the eye, you got to be careful if you group up. Ready to rock and roll is tied. He's trying to find the angle in. Is a little bit slower than what the Ember is. Relocate out to safety. Bob and Tino still standing hand in hand. Do they bring back the Deucer for this fight? The creeps are in the base. I don't know if Raiden can actually stick around. T4s are starting to drop.
Krish is going to have to do it.
Alright, well, they see Krish now. No, they're not going to jump. Okay.
Bob did the solo?
Okay, he just jumps. Apologies. Aaron and Lion gets obliterated. Gem on the deck. Tino is now trying to find the opening. Ben snags the gem. And then try and protect the Templar Assassin as best they can. Krish even getting involved as well after the buyback. Deuce is making the long trek over. It's going to take quite some time. Krish is playing with fire though. I mean, someone needs to get back. Tier 4 is still starting to drop. Prince gonna look to turn. Bob protecting with the air disc still Van. He's trying to find the window into the fight, waiting for that perfect opener for the Ravage to taunt. He jumps right into it. That's not the opener you're looking for on Van. If they can bring him down before the ultimate, that's the exact fight they're looking for. The first shoot, waiting for the second. A perfect timing from Zenki, but Van still hasn't found this ultimate just yet. He doesn't have the mana. Nonetheless, though, Prince still starting to go the work, but Marv, he's too survivable. The damage is through the roof. The help of BDZ, the G's are dropped. It was a nice attempt, but not nice enough.
The Dire Creeps all celebrating, doing their job all throughout, constantly taking one hero away from that last team fight. And it was a victory in my eyes that slipped out of Omega's fingers. I think they had the stronger draft. They were just out of position way too many times in the early game, particularly on Krish in the first 15 or so minutes. And then Grimstroke just caught out way too many times once he got to that Aghanim Scepter timing. So I feel like, you know, we saw probably two of the team fights that really did turn out their way. It was when Grim didn't just die at the very start of them. He was able to get off that full combination, and then they could use their superior crowd control to be able to take out the winning side of it. Wasn't the case at the end of the day, and a lot of this action did come after they'd already lost Mega Creeps, so they were already playing so heavily on the back foot.
Yeah, I think it also comes off the back of that first Roshan that Dire were able to claim. We put a lot of emphasis on the fact that Omega, you know, they've got a lineup that really needs to snowball this game. TA has a pretty solid, you know, 17-minute timing, you know, with Dragonlance, Desolator, potentially BKB and Aegis, where you just run down objectives. Deucer needs a lot more time, doesn't want to be grouping up at 5 at that stage, and it just honestly really cost him with how Execration could then just control the map, start to get objectives, and we saw it get to that stage where also the prioritization. Bob recognized his job, like you said, Grimstroke. You know, when he was alive with that Dark Portrait, fights were looking decent from Omega. Bob tried to make sure that wasn't a possibility, and for Omega, their aspect, they just were not doing a good enough job to get rid of the IO.
Yeah, for sure. The target prioritization just seemed a cut above on Execration this time around. So we'll see if they're in their downtime, they're able to talk about that, talk about the positioning going into this, because you can be as mechanically skilled as you want, but if you're not working as a team with what your prioritizations are, then it's going to end up in a loss more times than not. But they've got a chance to be able to potentially turn this one around as we wait for game number 2.
Well, for Execration, yeah, it was they have to work for it a bit in the end, maybe sweating with that one fight. I mean, still probability was very much in their favor, and they're able to close out this game 1. I'm gonna a 49-minute thriller on the dot. We'll find out what's gonna happen in our next game.